gonna try to take down and clear out. That feels good and looks a lot more visual. Okay, things always get worse before they get better. I feel so good about it. So hello everybody, welcome back to my vlog. My name is Elena. I am a special education teacher in the state of Iowa, and this is classroom setup part 2. So in part 1 of my classroom setup series, I really got the layout of my room pretty much figured out and dialed in, I think. Since then, all of my stuff from ESY has gotten sent back here. So if you've been following along, you know that I taught ESY, basically summer school, but for students who have IEPs for the month of July. And then all those materials that I was using for that now have been sent back to my room, and I need to find homes for all of those materials and supplies, because when I set up previously, those things were still over and being used in my ESY classroom. So they're now back here. I need to finish doing that. I also need to finish with any small decor that I have or I'm going to do in the room. It's not going to be a lot. I have some very specific guidelines of what I use for how I decorate the room and things that I put up or things that I don't put up. But that was on my list to do. And then I also see that I have a lot of the paperwork that I requested to be printed. It's mostly BIPs and IEPs and such, but I need to go through that and just make sure it's organized and ready to go, so that in a couple weeks when associates are back in here with me, that we are ready to stuff our binders and have everything ready to go for the first day of school. So that's just kind of on the agenda today. I am still kind of sitting down and taking in everything and trying to mentally plan before I bring you around and you get a bunch of jumbledness, because I'm not actually sure of my plan of attack of what I want to do first. If I turn the camera here for you, you can see I've got this, that'll all needs to be taken care of, and you can see all of these totes right here, which also all need to get taken care of and put somewhere. So I need to mentally think about some of it, because some of it I do think I need to make room for over here and where it can go. So I will mentally plan some of that out, and then we can get started with what's ever next. I think what I decided I want to do is there are some posters that I want to take down and just some things on the walls that I'm going to try to take down and clear out. I try to be very intentional about what goes up on the walls and not making it too much, not making it so that we're overwhelmed. I think kids can get overstimulated very easily, and we, with all the best intentions, want to make the room look so cute and picture perfect, but a lot of times it just ends up being too much all over for kids to look at. And so I try really hard to stick to bulletin boards and, you know, sometimes putting stuff up on cabinet walls. So you'll see me like take some stuff down over here that are on cabinet walls and sides of cabinet walls, but it's got to be very specific for a learning purpose if we're going to put it up. And if you just put it up as a teacher without going through it with your students, then it's not meaningful to them. And so I think teachers really need to be mindful, especially at the beginning of the year, of not putting too many things up on the wall. Because if you're putting up all of these reference posters that eventually will be good things to reference, but you haven't gone through it with the kids and taught them how to use it, it's meaningless to them. So you can put up all of your definitions of nouns and pronouns and verbs and everything up onto the wall, but if you haven't taught kids how to use it, it's not helpful to them, especially at the beginning of the year. And then especially as the year keeps going, you want a place to put anchor charts, you want a place to put student work. And if we've covered every bulletin board and every wall and every space in the room with all this stuff that we think is going to be helpful, it's too much. It becomes crowded. Kids don't know where to look. It becomes overstimulating. So I'm just going to just do my very best, even to take stuff down, stuff that maybe was like helpful before. But some of the stuff that I do have up, because I teach special education, I have gone through it with my kids, like the zones posters over here. I'm going to find a different home for them because they're a little bit covered up now by the way I have stuff over here. But those I'm going to keep up, because every kid that I've had on my roster this year, we've already talked about the zones and what they are, and I've had them for the last one at minimum to some of them. This will be the 4th year that I'm with them. So it is stuff that they know. And like, I'm keeping stuff up for our Leader in Me wall, because that is also something that all of the kids, they're not new to me and they're not new to this school, and that's a school-wide curriculum, program, mindset that we teach, and so they all know what all the different habits are. So some of that stuff is fine to keep up. I'm just thinking more like academic stuff. Try not to like have it up there before you've actually used it. I'm thinking specifically for me. Now these are kind of in a corner, but like those posters up there I've used with a previous student whose workspace was over there, and we needed it for more like 5th grade math work. But the student that I have this year who's going into 5th grade, I have not introduced those posters to him. So really I probably should be taking them down and waiting until I introduce it to that student and it becomes meaningful to them. Otherwise it's just up there taking up space. So I'm gonna quit talking, but I am gonna start moving some posters around, taking them down, and putting them up in other places, and leaving things blank and being okay with leaving things blank. Okay, these are all habit posters that go along with Leader in Me, and so I'm okay with putting them back up. I'm just gonna put them in a different spot. There's actually a bulletin board that has a last little section open on it that you'll be able to see when I move the camera over there. That is already like my Leader in Me area. So I'm gonna staple these back up over there, but then I've got some old Iowa football posters. I took one of them down already that I'm going to take down. I'll probably put new ones up eventually for this year, but I don't need an old Iowa poster with the football schedule on it from last year. So those are gonna get taken down, and I have this one left over here, women's basketball. It is not, it doesn't have the schedule on it, so it's not like outdated in that sense, but even if it did, I'm never getting rid of that one because it's the last one with Caitlin Clark on it. And if you've been watching, you know my love for Iowa women's basketball and Caitlin Clark. Fun fact, Chris and I actually were in a Big Ten documentary. If you want to go and search it up, it's called The Big Moment, and it's about a weekend in Iowa City that we were at and watched the men's and women's basketball teams have a crazy 28 hours between the men's game and the women's game the next day of the basketball games. And what ended up happening, Caitlin Clark actually shot this buzzer beater shot to beat Indiana at the last second. And yeah, Chris and I were at that game. We were at the game, the men's game, the night before, where they came back and won in overtime. And so anyways, Big Ten did a documentary on that, and Chris and I are both featured in it. So if you want to learn more about our love for all things Iowa Hawkeyes, you can go search up that documentary and find us on the Big Ten Network. But anyways, that just needs to find a new home. It was actually on a different wall, and then it fell down, and then over the summer the janitors rehung it here. It's not even straight, which really bothers me, because anyways, I just need to figure out where its new home is going to be, because it's not going to be right there. So let's rehang these, and you can see me take some other posters down in the room, and I will keep trying to mentally plan out where I want some of these other items to go.
2, 3.
So I also moved over here and took down these letters. It says learning targets on it, and with all the best intentions, that's where I was going to make my bulletin board, to put all of learning targets, and then that just never happened. Once I got all of the dividers set up in here last year, then that bulletin board became really hidden, and so I put learning targets up, just not there. So these are just, I'm just gonna throw them away. They're not in the best shape anyways. So I'm gonna throw these away, and then there is a bunch of stuff on these shelves that some of it will stay here, but some of it, we actually ordered some kind of like PE type equipment and recess equipment just for my students, because a lot of times the students that I work with have alternate recess and PE times. And so my principal helped use some building funds last year to order some stuff specifically for the special education department. And I have shelves. I got shelves over back behind in like my working area where it can all get housed at. So that's what I'm gonna move over next. If you've listened to any of my previous vlogs, you know I feel pretty strongly about the setup and the layout of things, and know that especially in a special education room, you need to think about what students have access to, especially if you're working with students with behavior challenges that I do, and knowing that anything that's up on the walls, you have to be okay with it getting torn and ruined. So anything that you see up on my walls aren't really like big signs anymore. When I taught gen ed, I had a bunch of like physical, big, cute signs that looked more like home decor. I don't use that anymore. Actually, I have it all. I probably should just like give it away to teachers and put it out and ask who wants it, because I've got it in that cabinet back there. But the only thing that I put up on walls anymore are posters, paper that can be laminated and velcroed, so that if and when it gets torn down, it's really hard to actually break it. And if it does, I can reprint it if I want it, or it's not a big deal if it gets destroyed. So that's really all you'll see me putting up on the walls anymore. And then as far as things that kids have access to, I can show you here, like this stuffed animal, I'm okay with leaving on this shelf and out for students. And like these weighted blankets are going to have a home here because it's fine for students to access them. They're not going to hurt anybody by throwing them if they have access to it. But right now, just because the way things got put at the end of the school year, I've got a bucket of toys that's right here. That's not going to stay there. That is something that needs to find its home either in a shelf that's back in my area behind the dividers, or actually locked away into a cabinet. So I've also got book sets that are put on these shelves, and I'm also going to find a room for those materials back behind my area. Now, behind my area, I do have a lot of curriculum materials and things that I use to teach with, manipulatives and stuff that aren't locked away in cabinets. I just don't have enough locked cabinets, but that's why I'm being very intentional about the stuff that is out and where it's at. So the things that are out are all behind barriers. I'll show you when I get over there. But I've got either these dividers up or a shelf turned so that it cuts off the students' access to just like running straight towards those materials. And we can use the other mats that we have to create barriers if needed, so that we're not getting back there and destroying those things. So just some preventative steps that you can take when you are setting up a special education room and thinking about it ahead of time, so that when crisis moments do happen, we don't have access to all of the things that are going to be of value and get destroyed or hurt somebody.
Trip to the beach or the life of James Dean, and it kills me to think I'm avoiding the pill I can't swallow.
Stuff here that came from a grant that are going to need to stay back here. First one is scooters, which I'm super excited about, but we don't need to. I wonder if I just put them in this box, if they fit. Okay, that's a no. That doesn't fit. And the rest are balls that need to be aired up. So I probably actually need a separate bucket that those are going to go into. Okay, I have to think about this one longer. Okay, I think my next plan of attack is to actually, I took these down too, and they're already laminated, but I've had them taped for the last couple of years. So I'm gonna go back through with Velcro and re-Velcro them in a new spot. And I've also got a shelf. Then I'm gonna do the same thing too of stuff that I put up really I wouldn't say last minute. It just wasn't up from the beginning of the year and it didn't get Velcroed. It just was taped there. So I'm gonna switch a shelf around and Velcro some of these posters in the calming area and kind of figure that out. And yeah, I'll come back to this little section later. But while we're over here, I just want to say this divides this area off from students. So before I would let a student come back here and pick any books out, they would have to show that they're calm in the green zone and ready to come back to this area. Otherwise, it is completely separated from students. And what's likely going to happen is that we will get the black kind of accordion long mats back from, they must be just in storage right now from when they cleaned my room. The janitor's gonna have to know where it is because they didn't make it back in here. It'll probably get stored right here so that if we do have a situation where we need to kind of create some more barriers and block some more areas off in here, then that can get extended, but then it would stop anyone from coming back here and getting through any of the drawers or things that I have. Before they get better. I don't think it's necessarily a mess in here, but I did not complete everything. I started some projects that I maybe didn't have enough time today to finish because it's a little after 2 and I need to take my son to an orthodontist appointment next. So I need to go pick him up. I think what's going to happen is I wasn't planning on coming in here tomorrow, but I do have a chiropractor appointment in town tomorrow because I don't work and I live about 25 minutes away from where I work at, but my chiropractor appointment is where I work at. So I'm just gonna plan on coming and spending an hour or 2 here tomorrow and finishing these things up for real, because I didn't even do any of the decorating that I thought I was gonna do with like hanging the tapestries over here. But I did go through all of these buckets. These buckets are from ESY, but they go specifically to students who are not on my roster for next year. They go to students who were on my roster, but they're going to be on an ID roster this next year. So that's for them. Everything on this table, my teacher table, still needs to get taken care of. I don't like the way this looks right here, the way it's sticking up. So I would like to find a new home for that, but that's not my biggest priority. I did get things mostly organized on this shelf, and I can go through that with you tomorrow. And there is a little bit of room left there. I need to figure out how I'm going to store these materials. At some point, everything in here I need to pull out and reorganize because it's all from last year, from the groups that I had last year, and some of them are the same, but some of them aren't. I need to find a new home for this poster. And then one thing that I did do that I'll show you quickly is things that associates will need for working with students. I started organizing on this shelf over here, more work-based tasks. So when they come into the room and they need, you know, some of the just routines and procedures and stuff that I have set up easily for them to do, there's a shelf with work tasks on it for them to work on with students. So that's kind of where we're at right now, but I'm just going to try to come back tomorrow and finish cleaning this all up. So I will check in with you tomorrow. Hello everybody, welcome back. It's the next day. I am hopefully going to finish up everything in the classroom today. I am just going to warn you before I start any segments going forward. I am having a very overly emotional pregnancy day. We had a visit with our social worker this morning, a home visit that they're required to do monthly. I can't even get myself started on my foster care rant right now, but it's got me all in my feels, and so I'm just hoping I can get through my classroom, putting the rest of it together without being all teary-eyed and crying on you guys about just irrational things that come up. I don't know if I don't think I've said this in any of my vlogs, but last week, women's basketball team, U.S. women's basketball team was playing. I had gotten done with ESY in the morning, and my son was at daycare and Chris was going to pick him up, and so I had an afternoon to just go home and nap. That's all I wanted to do, was go home and nap, because our kid was at daycare and I didn't have any responsibilities. And then the U.S. women's basketball team was on at the same time that I wanted to take a nap, and I cried because I realized I couldn't do both at the same time. I couldn't watch the game and take a nap at the same time. And so anyways, that's my like mental and emotional state right now, and I'm just hoping we can get through today and this afternoon without me crying about anything else today, because I've been on my soapbox about foster care and things that I'm frustrated with. This is maybe really random to talk about in this vlog, because I don't think I've even mentioned this, because this is just a classroom setup vlog. I am almost 36 weeks pregnant right now, and we also do foster care and adoption, and are a couple weeks away from adopting our son through the foster care system though. And so we've still got all of our like monthly visits from all the different people who have to come in and check in with us, and all the hoops to jump through with all of that too. So I'm just emotional today, and I'm apologizing. So I've taken up the first 2 minutes of this vlog for today talking about that. Sorry. Anyways, things that I want to get done today. I am not 100% happy with the shelf that I have over in this corner of my room. It's fine, but as I'm like looking at it, I'm like, ugh, it's kind of an eyesore. But I don't know if there's a huge way around it. I don't love where this is placed right now. It also is kind of an eyesore to me when I look over here at this. So I want to fix that. I've got all my 10 drawer, just turn all of these carts over here are beautifully organized for last year, but that's not necessarily going to be what I need for this year in the groups I'm running this year. So I just need to go through and clean those out. I have some tapestries I want to hang and finish any last decor that I do. And yeah, I've got some just random things floating around on my teacher table desk up here, because I needed to like BIPs, behavior progress monitoring, IEPs, IEP at a glance sheets that all need to be ready for teachers for the beginning of the year. I've got that all just like stacked that I ordered from our print shop and printed for me and ready to organize. So yeah, I just have some small things that need to get taken care of, but need to get taken care of nonetheless. So, oh, I also went to Target and bought the one thing that I am investing personal money in my classroom this year. I'm so proud of myself. It took me 10 years to get to this point, but give me a little drum roll here. The one thing that I am purchasing for my classroom this year is a calendar. I keep this behind my desk. Last year it was back here, but now I've got this big shelf here. So this year I'm gonna put it over in this area under my like daily calendar date there. I've got the magnet hung and ready to go. So this is gonna go right there. I put all important dates on here, like the school calendar for the year, any days off, conferences, when IEPs are due, meetings, days that I'm gonna be gone. The associates go back there and they write on here if they have days that they're gonna be gone, just so we know what's going on. It's just like keeps everybody in the classroom all on the same page. So I need to fill that out, and that's gonna get hung there. And that is the only thing that I'm spending money on this year. Everything else has either been bought, or I will use a purchase order through the sped department to buy it if it's specifically for a student need. And if I don't either already have it, or I can't get it through the sped department or like my school to order it for me, then I don't need it. That's just plain and simple my mindset for this year. So anyways, yeah, let's get started on all of those things that I just told you about.
Take a look out the window. Spirit goes up as the rain falls down. I've been sailing on the wrong course, keeping it together like I did before. Think that I've said this a few times. Even with that, has it ever felt right? I swear that this has happened every moment. Can I just be honest? I was only wondering, and maybe we could take it to a different conversation. Things will get uncomfortable, but just to gain the space, 'cause I wanna believe that. Ooh, I get lost, you go with your day. Slowly get closer, but you're moving away. I know it's just a recap, but I'm sure you'll never see that. Rather take it all back. Maybe it's time to get home. Think that it's going a little too far, even after all the white noise. Oh, I still wanted to restart. Give all you're taking my time. It feels like I'm patiently waiting in line. So can we ever have another moment? Can you just be honest? I was only wondering if maybe we can take it to a different conversation. Things are getting comfortable, but only if we make it. I just wanna say that still you'd rather take it all back. Although you are sunlight, you stay in the shade. I'm that side of corner just to get.
Proud and confident in how all of these are now cleaned out and ready to go. I was able to hang up the calendar where it needs to go, and I actually kept my zones posters where they were because I was able to rework this situation. So everything that was in here, after I cleaned out all of these drawers, I was able to find drawers for them here, which is wonderful. The thing I'm still mulling over, one, labeling everything. So I have a Cricut at home, and I've seen people Cricut vinyl labels for all of these types of drawers, which I love. However, my hesitation is that I switch what they're used for so much, because I use them for like lesson planning, and as kids have goals that are added or dropped, or we I like to keep it in the order of the day. Even though I don't have my master schedule quite yet, I still labeled things out, and I can go back and reorder them once I do have my master schedule. But the interventions that they're on are at least in the correct labeled drawer right now. I like to keep it in order of the schedule as it flows. And so if the schedule changes, then I switch where I keep that drawer at. So I'm not going to label those. And these don't get switched as much, but I just relabeled 4 of them just now as I reorganized things. And so if I do my vinyl on it and Cricut it, then they're kind of stuck that way, or at least it's harder to rearrange them. So I'm thinking I probably just need to stick with some ugly sticker labels maybe, or I'll just leave it the way I literally just use an expo marker right now, and it gets the job done. It's not very pretty, but it's at least labeled and organized where it needs to go. I've got my Haggerty books here. I've got extra clipboards and whiteboards here. These are my Lighthouse team rubrics I need for a Lighthouse team. These are all a bunch of extra clear protective sleeves. So height-wise and visually, I like the way that's organized, and it's easy to get to. And I've got some other kind of desk materials here, like sketch markers. Yeah, point is, the next thing I want to look at, I've got some math manipulators and things back here that I'm not sure I want to stay there. And I'm I don't know. I'm undecided still on this shelf over here. I'm not sold on the way that it is organized, and I've got some drawers over here that are kind of hanging off the edge of it, and so I would rather switch that with another shelf that I have over here, but that's kind of a lot of work, and I still have all of the PE equipment that I still need to do and hang tapestries. So that's stuff that I need to get figured out and taken care of. So enjoy some time lapses of me figuring all of that stuff out.
No need try, we just go with the motions. Close your eyes, ease your mind for a moment. Need no smoke that make you feel you floating. You know joke or you pressure, you know it. You know it, you know it. I don't fall under pressure, I be handling business. Get it finished, no extras, don't get into specifics. Wave maker, I came up out the Pacific. So you don't trust what you can't see. Some things are left to believe in. I just wanna know you believe me. You feel nothing good in life would be this easy. You don't trust what
Tapestries
you...
are up. That feels good and looks a lot more visually appealing and better. I know I talked a lot about staples and Velcro, and using Velcro is your best option for keeping stuff up. But then you saw me all use packing tape to tape up the tapestries. For whatever reason, these dividers, nothing sticks to them. The staples don't want to stay in them, they just come right on out. The Velcro, like the sticky to the Velcro, I don't know if it's the humidity with the fabric and the metal that's on there, but it slides right off, it doesn't stick. And I just found that somehow packing tape's the best thing to keep them up. Now, if a kid's gonna rip it down, they're gonna rip it down, but the Velcro, it falls, the Velcro and staples, they fall on their own. So at least if they're coming down, it's not because it's falling on its own, it's because someone tore it down. So that's, yeah, why we use the packing tape for that. So I have the tapestries up over here. I have this corner shelf figured out. I don't have things labeled pretty. I just used sticky note to label it for now, but like I said, I struggle to make pretty labels because I just change things around so often. So that's what works for now, and I am happy with the way it looks and things fit on there. Once the balls get blown up, they're not going to fit in the container that they're in right now, in that little milk tub, but I'm not going to worry about blowing them up until probably the day that the associates that work in here, when they come back to work that afternoon, I'll probably use that as a task for them. So things that I have left to do, I'm going to be here for about another 55 minutes, a little less than an hour. I need to find a home for this and hang it up with Velcro. I need to take care of all the paperwork that's left on my desk, and it's probably just going to get shelved over here because most of it needs to get filled in binders, which is, again, is going to be something that happens when the associates come back and they fill their binders for each of the students. And then I've got behind the wall of tapestries that you've seen, I just need to reconfigure that area a little bit. So I'm going to do those last things, and then hopefully I can take you on a final room tour, which is super exciting.
Try to take one ride around in my body, Can't say I saw you around when I started. I'm a hometown hero, that's a fault that I came, but I never knew if it would fall into place. I became what I wanted, and I'm still on the way. Ain't coming home the way I left it, this time something's different. Ain't coming home the way I left it, this time it's my city. Ain't coming home the way I left it.
Setup is done. I feel so good about it. So let me flip the camera around, give you a final tour, and then I need to get to a chiropractor appointment. So let's see what she looks like. Walking in right away, when I turn to the right, I've got a shelf full of work tasks and student work bins that they are working through, and other work materials. So that all has to do around classroom work, a visual timer, of course, student caddy. This is our Leader in Me board. I know it says Superflex Social Town, that's what it was 2 years ago, but yeah, it's Leader in Me. I've got iPads, technology stuff, Keurig and microwave walkies right here, and then this has a bunch of different paper stored in it. We've got our safe room, of course, with other visuals and student behavior plans and their response strategies all right there, so people know how they should be interacting with them. These can all be ignored because they are for students that are on another teacher's roster this year that I used to have, and so I'm passing all that stuff over to them. Right here, there's a bunch of, well, that's paperwork for CPI things, Chapter 103B. If you're in Iowa, you're familiar with it. We've got some Kleenex and other disinfecting things. I've got some clipboards and coloring pictures and easy activities there. Some breathing and de-escalation techniques to just grab quickly and help try to work through with students, and then other coloring materials. If I look to the left, I have a student caddy. This is a, well, it's not really a caddy, it's a cubicle, and an empty shelf here. This will be for a specific student for their calm down area. There will be visuals in it. There will be more comforting materials and things that they use to calm down, but that's going to be some of our first social skills lessons, is setting that up. This will be for one of the associates, or just an associate that's working in here. So they have a work table area. This is for another specific student I have that's going into 5th grade that is self-contained in my room. So I've got his work things and calm down materials and stuff from last year that we used, stuff I know he's going to need. This year it's on wheels, so when we need to, we can get it out of the way. And then obviously his workspace. This is just a calm down area for anybody to come in and use. I've got a lot of books and cognitive distraction breaks over here, and just soft pillows, visuals. These are all from Zones of Regulation, of all the different mindfulness techniques, calm down techniques. And then this is from the Little Spot of Emotion series as well. Obviously zones and other visuals. These are on Velcro so that they can easily get put back up. I got my tapestries put up along the wall. This is my small group table / teacher table / desk. I don't like to waste a bunch of room in the classroom by having a teacher desk and a small group table. So I just keep all of my desk type materials and items that would be on a teacher desk behind me organized. And then I use this table as my teaching table and my desk. Over here, I've got my shelf with my teacher toolbox. Obviously, these are all my maternity sub plans. I've got intervention binders, behavior plans, social skills resources, books and read-alouds all up here. My filing cabinet that I use to keep all behavior progress monitoring and IEPs and sensitive information. Behind my desk, I keep my most commonly used items. So I will keep, every day's a holiday. August 6th, that was yesterday's Root Beer Float Day. Today is August 7th. Professional Speakers Day today. Tomorrow will be International Cat Day. I also use for my morning message the facts, trivia, or a question of the day. So that's for that. I keep my lesson plans on here once I have them for the year, and any anecdotal notes on students in this binder below. I've got some math manipulatives down here between these two, and a 3-hole puncher. This is my beautiful writing utensils organization that I love. These are social emotional learning resources and targets and kind of a pacing guide through the year. UFly magnetic board, whiteboard, the UFly manual. These are all my master copies of progress monitoring. This, trying to push this in here was quite the pain, and I'm probably going to just end up taking it out and relabeling it somehow. These are fast probes, which is also for progress monitoring. So this, I didn't always have it like this. I always had a master copy with students' IEPs and behavior plans in it, but I did it per student. This year I'm putting everybody's together along with all progress monitoring probes and routines, except the fast probes are here by grade. But so that's just for if you have a reading fluency goal. Every other like behavior, reading, writing, math type of probe that they might have is all in here, along with their IEP and their IEP at a glance and their BIP checklist. So that's how I have that organized. These are all like things that would be in a desk, I guess. I've got a lot of fidgets and options down here. Threat assessment, paperwork, batteries. These are like learning target desk items, as you can see. This has been broken before, but more just desk items, keeping those away from students, whiteboard erasers, more magnetic letters, and IEP books, blue books that you give to parents for their procedural safeguards, and then letters, training manual, and PLC book. So yeah, that's in there. I've got the Haggerty books. I talked about this earlier, I guess, so I don't really need to take you through all of this, but I've got that organized by student goals and lessons. This is, I'm not gonna open it, but I've got a lot of my own personal things in here. Obviously there's the We Are Family board that I can add pictures to through the year. I've got books, chapter books up here, more math manipulatives, more painting art stuff, the scooters, headphones if students need it, balls that need to get blown up, and then just more organization of things. Some of them are labeled nice and some of them just have sticky notes on it because that's real life and that's how it goes. Not everything is pretty. So then if I go this way, these cabinets have all student materials for checking out. I'll just open it and show you. So there's like food items in here for students that we need to feed through the day. I've also got all their checkout routines. There's more clipboards, books, and Velcro down there, but more supplies up here. I've got stickers that kids can buy with their tickets for checkout. We are a PBIS school, so I combine that with their behavior progress monitoring and goals, so that they have a way to buy stuff from me. Okay, if I look right here, I've got another just calm down space. I would love to put a tapestry here, but I've put up all of them that I have. This is all the games. It's locked right here, so I can't open it because I didn't bring my keys over here with me. But this is all full of student games that they can choose for reward time. This corner, there's another student work area if we need it, but then also the climbing wall to get some energy out and have a replacement behavior for my friend that loves to climb. Again, all soft materials. These blow up actually a lot bigger. This is a donut, this is a slice of pizza, but for now they're just tucked away and all things that aren't gonna hurt somebody if they're thrown. Right here I've got a trampoline and a rocking chair for some more calm. Well, this isn't really calm, but this would be a break or reward depending on the student and their plan and their needs. Same thing with the rocking chair. And then over here, a desk. I left this empty because I'm not sure if this is going to be a work area or a calm down area for a student, but I think we need to start normalizing just leaving things blank and knowing it doesn't all have to get filled from the beginning of the year. And this is where I started putting some You Fly, Vowel Valley, and the consonant chart, but the rest of it's just gonna get filled in as we work through it. Or I might change my mind and take that down and use it for completely something else. Come back around and we're back to the front of the room. So that's it, that's the tour. I am so thankful that you watched to this point in the video, and I need to get myself to my chiropractor appointment because it's literally in 4 minutes. So good thing it's only like 2 minutes away from here. I love you all. Thank you for watching. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe so you can see all future videos I have to upload. I am currently 35 and a half weeks pregnant, so I am exactly 1 month out from my due date today as I am filming this. So we will see how close to the due date we get and how many more videos I get up before baby girl is here. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Hey, I saw you around when I started. I'm a hometown hero.